Deep in the forests of Germany, legend has it, there exists a race of people who to this day practice pagan rituals and devil worshipment. For the majority of the year, they remain unseen and forgotten, but in the 2 weeks prior to Lent, they are summoned down from the mountains and the forests to assume a new identity, to reenact their ancient ceremonies, seldom seen by the outside world. A small contingent of English explorers set out in March 2011 on a journey to seek out and document these strange customs and meet with the indigenous people who open their homes to them each year. For those of us who returned, we bring you this visual account of 5 days within the land of the Schuttig. Situated in the heart of the Black Forest in Germany is the town of Elzach, a usually quiet rural town of no more than 3,000 inhabitants, but a town that is steeped in tradition and rural custom, that takes on a wild new identity in the days leading up to Lent, as the Schuttig tribe arrive for their annual celebrations known as Fashnet, a celebration which includes devil making and witchcraft. Ruth Lang acted as guide and interpreter during our stay, a welcome addition to the group, as the strange grunt and dialect of the Schuttig is difficult to master at the best of times. With Ruth acting as translator and Holger at the helm, we were more optimistic of the challenges ahead. It wasn't long before we were introduced to the notorious mountain devil, which would play an enticing role in our forthcoming adventures. As I stared vacantly at the empty bottle in front of me, I couldn't help but feel that the bubble was about to burst. Fashnet has a long tradition that dates back several hundred years, and as we listened intently to Ruth's cautionary tales, I sensed a feeling of apprehension, knowing the stories I had heard and of the pictures seen. Pictures of strange, grotesque faces looking out at you wherever you go, each with its own regional identity, depicting a lost world of evil intent and ritual sacrifice. To safeguard our passage, we were each given a necklace to wear that resembled that of a mummified head. Could this be the heads of the lost expedition of 2008? However, nothing could have prepared us for the events which we were about to witness, as the door opened and we caught sight of our first Schuttig warrior, who led us into his lair. Here we were introduced to the young Schuttig, seen here beating off our guide Ruth in the customary manner. His weaponry includes a pig's bladder tied to the end of a bull's penis, and it is normal practice for the Schuttig to violently beat the floor as a taunting gesture. The Schuttig wear black leather shoes, pants and a jacket covered with overlapping rows of red felt rectangles and white linen gloves and tie. The hat is made of woven straw and covered with snail shells tied down in sharp rows with a dense pom-pom of red wool on each corner. A grotesque hand-carved mask covers his face in order to forego his everyday identity. Notice I say him, as the Schuttig are essentially of male descent. Outside, as we tried to blend in with the crowd, I felt conspicuous by being underdressed. Would we be taunted or singled out for special treatment like lambs to the slaughter? Leading the Schuttig into town is the Black Devil, whose costume of black represents the uncivilized evil element of the Schuttig. The children will tease and provoke him to chase them with his trident. Eventually they beat a hasty retreat, as he leaps along, taunting the crowd with his pitchfork. He is followed by one of the many town's bands, whose infectious march is played over and over again. Following behind the marching bands are wave upon wave of Schuttig, skipping, taunting and growling as they enter into town. As Schuttig, they are compelled to maintain a degree of disruption and spontaneity on the streets. At such times, the Schuttig may grab people they find attractive and mess with their hair, dangle bladders before them, or put on a mini performance for their benefit, consisting of crouching in an aggressive pose, brutally smashing their bladders on the ground and emitting a loud growl. For taunting spectators, some Schuttig prefer extendable wooden shears to the gruesome and smelly pig's bladders. Known as the fashionette ladder, the Schuttig is inviting the woman to climb down into the streets below. But today, Thursday, is essentially for the children, a day when the town pays homage to a new generation of children as they march into town. Bringing up the rear is an assortment of followers dressed in all manner of costumes and depicting the mountain witches and various creatures and symbols of the forests. This wildness continues for many hours until the Schuttig disappear off the streets just as quickly as they arrived. Most are found in local taverns enjoying a drink or a dance, and it is reassuring to learn that even the Schuttig have need of a call to nature. It was time also for us to take our leave, as I was anxious to unmask the face behind the Schuttig. Each mask is handcrafted to order from the local linden tree, which is a softer wood than the local pine. First, each owner's facial features are measured. Then the profile is drawn onto the wood before being carved and cut out deep to fit properly. Every Schuttig will have his own mask made to his own design. Generally this takes a day's work to complete, but with painting and a final coat of lacquer, it may take longer. The most common mask is the frats, the ugly face, a brown mask with grimacing mouth, red lips and white teeth. Age, colorization and facial features contribute to its uniqueness, just enough to give the mask individuality, but not enough to make it stick out in a crowd. Further adjustments may require a second sitting. Here, a devil's mask comprising horns and a goatee beard is being tested for authenticity. After all, it's better the devil you know than the devil you don't. Elzach and its neighbouring town of Valkirk are two of the many villages that maintain this ancient custom, each with their own variant of a theme, where although an individual's face may be protected from identity, his appearance and costume will uniquely identify the occupant to a particular clan or region. Here in Valkirk, the Candle Witch and Harlequin are the town's equivalent to the Elzach Schuttig. With the help of the village elders, we were allowed as outsiders to witness the baptism of a new witch, a ceremony which takes place adjacent to the village centre. What you are about to see is a virgin girl burnt at the stake and then transformed into a witch at the command of the Black Devil. We join the ceremony as it is about to begin, with the devil summoning the witches.
Wir
dancing of the witches is a spectacle not to be missed. If you are really lucky, you may catch them jumping the fire or even flying across the square on their broomsticks as they are summoned down from the nearby Candle Mountains. The climax of the Sunday celebrations in Elzak begins with the dimming of the town's lights, led once again by the Black Devil down Main Street and into one of the adjacent squares. Here the devil begins using his pitchfork to tend a small fire. As the torchbearers pass us by in ever-increasing numbers, dancing to the Schuttig march, the Black Devil becomes even more charged with frenzy until all the torches have been discarded into the fire. The procession can take several hours to complete, after which the Schuttig party into the early hours. By this time, we sensed it was time for us to make a discreet exit in case we became the object of their desire or even succumbed to the fire. Had we stayed, we might have partaken in the hurling of cold and hot discs down the hillside to a declaration by the Holy Mother. But this was one too many ceremonies we were glad to forgo. Looking back, I realise just how little we had sampled of this amazing cultural tradition. Returning home to full military honours, as we were awarded the Medal of the Fashnet, we feel reassured in the knowledge that their folklore is alive and well, and luckily for us, we survived to give this account of a rare moment in history which brings you, the spectator, into the land of the Schuttig.